and welcome to my channel, Nasira's Heart. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come in the room. um, the reason that I started this mini series, as I had stated before, is that there has been an uptick in the amount of domestic violence cases that are affecting women and children. And a lot of times there are different things that are available in terms of resources that can help you in terms of noticing the red flags maybe prior to your situation. Then there are things that are available to you when you get out. But a lot of times during the time that you are going through, most people don't understand what you're going through. People give advice, they tell you, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just do this? Why don't you this, that? There's all sorts of advice that they give you. Some people may not understand the decision, why you're doing what you're doing, whatever that it is. You try to have a brave face, you try to remain positive. There's all different things that you try to do in order to keep your sanity and maintain every day. One of the things that I want to talk about in this episode is maintaining self. And sometimes that's not popular, especially in marriage, because that is about submission, serving one another, and things like that. And we're not talking about self as being selfish. We're not talking about that. There are things that each person enjoyed about each other when they were dating, things, interests that they had, all of those things. And then somewhere along the way, there's a shift that occurs. And typically, women who are in domestic violence situations end up losing themselves. They don't do the things that they used to do. They don't get together with the people they used to together with. They don't talk to the people they used to talk to. And then those that do, they put on a brave face. They're putting on a front. They're, acting like, loveless, and, you don't doubt it. You don't doubt that you love the person. You don't doubt that there's feelings involved. And for whatever reason, it's just continuing, because it's a vicious cycle. But losing yourself, losing the things that you love. Because the one thing that we have to remember is that each person is an individual, and I am not sure why when people end up getting into the relationship that somehow you must now become some totally different person. You must start, doing things that only the other person likes without regard to self, without regard to your own self interest, without regard to those things that make you smile. And sometimes people have been faced with situations where maybe the other person, they don't have a social life or they don't have a lot of friends, and you become their best friend. And so you're spending all your time with that person. That's one thing that is common. You find that, you know what I mean, in different situations or people that you even know. You might even take a look, when you were growing up, or people you might know now that are in domestic violence situations, or if you can reflect back on those relationships and you think about every time you see them, they're with their significant other. Every time. If they're not with them, it's to maybe run to the store or, some other thing. And I'm not talking about like people that love spending time with each other and that sort of thing, but I'm just talking about that they don't have a life outside of this other person. And there's jealousy, if a person is, hanging out with, their friends too much, and then all of a sudden, they don't realize, they come home and now all of a sudden it's a conflict, there's an argument that gets started, there's accusations that get thrown around because they think that you're out doing something. And you're thinking to myself, I'm not doing anything, I'm just hanging out with my friends, we're having a good time, or whatever the case may be, or I went over, around my family, or, whatever. And so, it's really, really crazy, you know, entering into those things. But one thing that we need to know is that we must love ourselves, and that can look different in many different ways. That can look different in many different ways. But loving yourself is key. Loving yourself not superficially, but loving who you are on the inside and never forgetting who you are and get back to those things that you enjoy. Get back to those things. You know, reading and writing and poetry and walking, and a lot of times women don't get a chance to spend time with self. They're doing so much and giving and caring and doing all of those things, so they don't get an opportunity to do the things that they really like doing. And sometimes they just want to spend time by themselves, but you have people pulling and tugging at you from every direction, wanting something from you. You know what I mean? And I don't think people, they take the time to realize that you might need something, asking you, what do you need? You know what I mean? And it's easy to be like, I control everything that you do. I decide whether you go here. I decide whether you make money. I decide, whether, but that's not submission, that's control. And the person has to examine why it is that they might be wanting a person to move in that way and not have their own mind. Because the same things that you liked that attracted you to that person should be those same things that should remain, and they should also evolve. So, again, thank you for joining me. This is just a short clip. We will be coming on here. New episodes will be uploaded. There may be some lives and other things, but we will be coming on here talking about these issues, because I don't think there's enough highlight on these things. And like I said, women are dying, children are dying, and it doesn't have to be. And so, again, like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications. There's always information in the description box. So please, join us. Come back and see us. Again, Rose Petals Revived is the new series, and we'll be uploading episodes each week.